Hello everyone, this is Joe Brewer here at the Origen del Agua Nature Reserve in Barichara, Colombia. And I want to show you how we're taking this really degraded and exposed land and we're going to gradually improve the soils and stop erosion. And we're doing it with a series of gabions and contour swales. So first of all, I want to show you right here where we have this swale that's dug on contour. And you can see how we've dug it to be maybe like 15 inches wide and 10 or so inches deep, piling the dirt on the downhill side and stacking rocks to support it. And this is because the water comes from uphill, runs downhill, and runs into it. But then we have an overflow that comes out right here on this side. And at this point, the water comes out and then it begins to run down the hill to where those tools are. And I'll show you that we've built a couple of lines of gabions, or just stacks of stones that help to filter the sediments. And here's one of them. So you can see we have this line of rocks right here. It started collecting sediments. So as the water runs downhill from the contour swale above, sediments are being collected and they're being held right here. This is a nice example of some of the fine particle matter that the erosion is being slowed down. And then we have another little gabion right there, and then a whole series of them going down the hill. And this is the most exposed central part of the top, the part we're up near the top of Origen del Agua. And you can sort of see by looking down that we're going to be going downhill from here. And what I'm going to be doing today is right next to this gabion, this line of rocks, I'm going to take my handy tools and I'm going to start to dig another contour swale. So the idea is, right now we're collecting sediments, but if I dig what's basically a ditch that is level in altitude or level in elevation, which is a swale that is on contour, then when the water runs here, some of it will stay and begin to infiltrate into the ground. And you can see here, this is like rock and clay, and it's really nasty material. This other contour swale that we dug, or that I dug, about 4 months ago, you can already start to see that just by holding water, not only does it absorb water into the ground, but it begins to change the chemical properties, the absorption. See, this is starting to look a little bit like clay and almost like dirt. Got some plants that are starting to grow in here just after 4 months. And so the idea is this is a place for storing water so that it can slow down enough to infiltrate into the ground. But it's also a place that is improving the soil because a thin layer of clay, that you can almost see here if I hold this up, that it's this really like almost ceramic quality clay. This makes a surface layer which helps hold moisture underneath. And if there are any seeds from native plants, like these plants here, it'll start to germinate and grow. And so we're beginning to put a surface layer of soil on this exposed ground. And so if we did this little spot here in just a couple of months, the idea is now to build something like a set of terraces with lines of contour swales going down, each of them helping to hold the water to absorb it, to slow down erosion and gather sediments, and because of this surface substrate, the surface layer that helps to hold the moisture in and hold the seeds in place where the sediments are, we begin to have germination of seeds in some plants, which help to break down the clay and build soil. And so this is how we're going to take this whole area and begin to slowly create lines or terraces of restoration of soil and establishment of vegetation. And I just wanted to show this to you now because in the future, when we come back and look at this again, we're going to start to see dramatic effects, but it'll take a while for it to take hold because this is some really degraded land. And on this really degraded land, we need to bring the soils back and stop the erosion, which is what we're going to do with techniques like gabions for gathering the sediments, contour swales, and just putting them in line to direct the water so that it slows, spreads, and sinks into the landscape while improving soils and helping to germinate native plants. So I hope this gives you some more insights into how we can do water retention work while also doing soil recuperation and at the same time helping to slow erosion and to germinate the seeds of native plants that are moving with the water during rain events. So the rain that was taking the land away is now going to be helping us to build the land back up. I hope this gives you some more insights into how you could regenerate some degraded land, even very degraded land, and have positive regenerative effects. So may this inspire you to go off and restore or regenerate some degraded land where you are.